Hey everybody, it's GauntletX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today we'll be playing another Premier Draft of Phyrexia All Will Be One, with one Alchemy card in each pack replacing one of the commons. Without further ado, let's get into the draft. So the Alchemy card, Quicksilver Lapidary here, is pretty cool, pretty fun. Not particularly good in draft though, you'd have to be a pretty artifact heavy deck for this to work, and then it's just kind of a 2-mana mana rock here. Not the craziest thing ever. We do have a pretty great rare out of our regular Phyrexia All Will Be One pack, though. We've got the Evolved Spinoderm, 4 mana for a 5/5 with 4 oil counters on it. It has Trample as long as it has 2 or fewer oil counters on it, otherwise it has Hexproof. And at the beginning of your upkeep, you have to remove one of the counters from it, and if it has none, sacrifice it. So even if you don't have any Proliferate, this is likely to get a good amount of damage in, do some good attacking and blocking. And with just a little bit of Proliferate, you can prolong this long enough to where the game's likely to just end before this ever sacks itself. So I do like Evolved Spinoderm. Decent enough to just pick one pack, one it here. And speaking of evolving cards, here's another very powerful one. The Evolving Adaptive. I would even argue this is stronger than the Spinoderm, because this is a card that you get to play on turn 1 that is just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger as the game progresses, as you're playing larger creatures. So it's a 1-drop card that often ends up trading off into 3 or 4 mana creatures later in the game, and that's after it's already gotten some damage in. So Evolving Adaptive is a pretty absurd Magic card and a very easy follow-up to Evolved Spinoderm. We're very happy to see that. Other than that, there's not a ton going on this pack. There's some good blue interaction, I guess, or a solid red evasive threat. Pack 1, pick 3. The Alchemy card in this pack is Seething Skitterpriest. For white-black toxic, not really going to fit well into our heavy green deck here with Evolving Adaptive and Evolved Spinoderm, but a cool card nonetheless. Couple options. We could take Lattice Blade Mantis to stay mono green for now, keep our second color open. We could also take Volt Charge, which is an excellent removal spell that works very well with our first 2 picks because Proliferate is quite valuable on both of these oil counter cards. And there's also Exuberant Fuseling for pushing into that red-green oil deck with another good oiled up 1-drop. I think the main competition here is between Mantis and Volt Charge. The question is, do we pick up the Great Removal spell, or do we stick to mono green for now? I think I want to just take up the really, really good removal spell with Volt Charge, and it just works exceptionally with our first 2 picks. And pack 1, pick 4, we see a Chimney Rabble and an Exuberant Fuseling, both excellent cards in red for red-green oil to go with what we have going so far. I'm actually not sure which is better for us here. I think both are phenomenal cards. I kind of want to go with the Fuseling to have more 1-drops that come with oil. That way if we pick up any Free from Flesh, the 1-mana combat trick that puts 2 oil counters on a card and gives it +2/+2 till end of turn, we could just run every copy of those that we get to do some pretty absurd things with Fuselings and Adaptives. Could be a pretty fun way to build the deck, so we'll take the Fuseling here. The one thing I don't like is we are sending a pretty heavy red signal to our left, so we're not likely to get a bunch of good red cards in pack 2, but pack 3 at this rate, probably going to get some good red because we're seeing it so far from the right side in this draft. Forgehammer Centurion is fine filler, Volshock Splitter's fine filler, that's about it for the pack. There's a Siphoner for a toxic strategy, that's not really what we're doing. Serum Snare for interaction in blue. Relatively empty pack, the best card by far being Serum Snare. Let's take a Centurion and not be super happy with it. Okay, this is a pick I will be very happy with. Whichever card I take, we can take Dune Mover, because it can be a solid 2-drop for any deck no matter what we play. Fix our mana on curve if we need it, or we can just take the Batter Fist. It's an excellent 2-drop in red decks. I'm incredibly into Barbed Batter Fist. I'm probably Barbed Batter Fist's #1 fan, so we're just going to scoop that up here. Excellent little 2-mana 3/1 we can move around later. Titanic Growth is also a good trick, so there's really good stuff out of that pack. Alright, another very empty pack. I don't think anybody in this draft pod is going to be very happy when they see this, except maybe the blue player really needs a Mesmerizing Dose. Outside of that, though, super weak pack. I'll just take a Rebuke in case I end up really low on removal. Could also just take Splitter, but I'll go for the Rebuke here. Okay. Just a Prowler for blue, Testament Bearer in black. Neither are exciting. I'll just take a Prowler. Aspirant is perfectly fine for red-green. We'll take that. This pack's pretty much empty. Take a Thrill of Possibility, I guess. Another empty pack. Custodian. Furnace to the side. I don't like the Skull Bomb very much. Could get used in here, put some counters on the Fuseling or the Adaptive, could be fun, but I don't think I'll end up running it most likely. Alright, Thirsting Roots, and we'll see what we open up in pack 2. Alright, so our Alchemy card is a blue instant card draw spell. Our rare is a blue-black Planeswalker, pretty hard to get there with the green-red start. We don't have a lot of green cards, that's the one awkward thing. We could actually push into some other red strategy, but our 2 green cards are very powerful, Evolving Adaptive and Evolved Spinoderm. So I think I do want to stick to what we're doing here, and the strongest card in green or red out of this pack is Contagious Vorak. 3 mana, 3/3 on curve, picks up another land to get you higher up on curve. Battle Chair is quite strong as well, but at 6 mana you don't get to run as many of these kind of cards. It would be our one kind of big finisher, whereas Vorak is just exceptional in the middle of the curve every game, so we'll take the Vorak here over the Battle Chair as the main competition. Pack 2, pick 2, we can take a Cacophony Scamp in red. Brutalizer doesn't do much in our deck here because we don't really care about the Toxic. And there's some combat tricks that are fine. You could take War Whip and try to push to red-white equipment. I would really rather be able to play a deck with Spinoderm and Adaptive in it, so I'll just take Cacophony Scamp here. Solid red 1-drop. Now our first 5 mana creature, an Oil Gorger Troll, is very nice in this color pair. I do like having Hazardous Blasts, but I think they tend to wheel pretty often, and I only really need 1 or 2 copies. I don't need to draft them super duper highly in my opinion. I'll take the Oil Gorger Troll. How many 2-mana creatures do we have right now? Just one? One Batterfist? I don't think I take Slinger over Predation, but I do really need to keep in mind that I'm low on 2-mana creatures. Another Contagious Vorak, pick 5. We're really happy to see that after seeing not a ton of green pack 1. That's a very good sign for us. Alright, pick 6. Now we'll take the filler 2-drop creature, the Shrapnel Slinger. Another Predation versus a Dune Mover, Titanic Growth, Full Shock Splitter. Let's get another 2-drop creature. We only have 2. We'll take a Dune Mover. Chimney Rabble is a super good pickup. Pick 8. Get another 4-drop, and it's an incredible one, being able to attack and block well. Now a Cultivator, pick 9. Excellent Ramp Dork for the green-red oil decks. Pack 2 has worked out super well for us, and we still get to wield these Titanic Growths for more non-creature spells, more tricks. Very happy with how this pack has gone. Now we are just firmly in pretty good color pair. Very close to a full deck. Like if I put Thrill of Possibility, Custodian, and Roots in there, we're pretty much have a full deck. Those are very filler cards though, so we would prefer not to have to play them. But on the plus side, we won't have to play them because we have a whole third pack to find our last few playables. Deck is looking great. Yeah, and it's all green-red this late, pick 11. Happy to see it. Sticking in Golfer, I guess. I don't really like these tap lands very much. Already got one of them. I want one badly. Take a Thrill. Strider. And a Skull Bomb. And see what we open up in pack 3. Alright. This is pretty close. There's an Alchemy rare that I'm not going to take because it's green-black. But then the competition is Hexgold Slash, one of the best removal spells in the format. Just 1 mana to clear out any 2 toughness creature or any 4 toughness or less toxic creature. Great instant speed removal there. versus the Argentum Masticore, which can take over a game relatively easily. But it is a 5-mana card, so you get to play it a lot less often. I think I'm just going to take the Masticore here, but I think you could not go wrong just taking Hexgold Slash, honestly. I think it might even be better to just take the Slash. But I'm going to take the Masticore there. I can't really resist. It's a pretty big, pretty balmy card. Now we can take a Volt Charge for another removal spell. Works great with all our oil counter cards. Pretty happy to take that. Reservoir would be fine if it wheels. If it doesn't, just take a Scamp or something. Okay, Tyvar's Stand is really nice instant speed interaction. We'll scoop that up. Pack 3, pick 4. Hexgold Sledge is basically the 3-mana version of Chimney Rabble. This card is just nuts. 3 mana for a 3/2 and a 1/1 Goblin Gavalier. And then you could move that equipment around later. Ridiculous amount of stats for only 3 mana. Hexgold Sledge is a phenomenal card. This is 23 cards, so that's just our whole deck. Now every time we take a card, we get to cut a card. Go from there. Curve looks really nice. I think we want just a couple more 2-mana things to do, but outside of that, it's just a perfect deck. I mean, not perfect, but it's a great deck. It's definitely a great deck. I think I'll play a Cackler over a Forge Hammer Centurion. So that'll be the change there. Ooh, we do get another Hexgold Slash. I'm going to take that over the Predation Steward, even though it would fill out the 2-drop slot, because Hexgold Slash is just phenomenal. We'll take that one, and we're super happy to see it. Another 5-drop creature, Furnace Strider's pretty powerful. I think I'll play that over Gopher. Get that curve a little bit lower. Play 16 lands here. So 24 cards, 16 lands is what we're sitting at. I don't think I'll play any of these, but maybe Centurion. I already cut one though. Maybe Spore Singer, but I would just cut that. I'll just take the uncommon for Vault Progress. I could play a Splitter. That's not horrific here. Another 4-drop in the deck. I think I'm going to start that in the side for now, but it's an option. Okay, I will play Sawblade Scamp. I have a ton of 1-mana stuff to do. Probably cut Molten Rebuke here with Slash, Double Charge, and a bunch of combat tricks. Alright, it's going to be a very solid deck here. Got a good curve of creatures, got great removal and some combat tricks. Can get nice and aggressive. Deck looks like it can do some things here. I think I am just cutting a land. Right, our average mana cost is pretty low, 2.5. We do have some big stuff, but we have some Cultivators and multiple Vorax to find lands for those. I guess I have one Cultivator, double Vorak. It still seems good. Move our equipment up here because they're both 4 Mirrodin cards that come with creatures attached. Yeah, just cut a land and call it a deck, I think. Yeah, we are golden. Alright, here's a look at the deck we're going to be playing today. Kind of a classic green-red oil aggro deck. Tons of good 1-drop creatures, so we get that curve started real quickly. We have a couple combat trick style spells to support them, make sure they can attack into larger creatures on blocks. Keep pushing damage in. Tons of removal spells as well to clear the path. So just a really nice, aggressive early curve from the deck, and when we hit 4 and 5 mana, we hit some really explosive plays like Evolved Spinoderm here, and the Argentum Masticore as an additional win condition. So again, much like most decks in the Phyrexia All Will Be One format, it's pretty aggressive. We're trying to just curve out, keep the smackdown on our opponent, combat trick into bigger blockers like Tyvar's Stand and Titanic Growth, clear out any important threats with Volt Charge, Hexgold Slash, and Ruthless Predation. Just keep the pressure on our opponent, maybe close out the game with a big bomb in the late game. Outside of that though, just green-red beats. Solid aggro stuff. It's exactly what we want to do. Hopefully it'll go well. I'm sure we will find out as we head into the gameplay. Here we are on the play for game one with what is unfortunately an unkeepable hand. We have one red source. The only thing we can cast is Hexcold Slash. We need multiple mana for most of our other spells. If I immediately hit a forest, being able to turn one adaptive is nice, but then I still don't play another creature unless I hit 2 more lands, so we do have to mulligan that one. This is a lot more reasonable. Probably, it's a little awkward because I feel like I'm probably supposed to keep Dune Mover and get rid of the Aspirant and try to go all in on Masticore with a hand like this, which isn't exactly what I like to do in an aggressive format like this. I'd much rather have a hand that can just curve out the whole way. But when the option is keep all the lands so that I can curve into the Masticore, or keep the Aspirant to have another early creature, I would rather just guarantee this late game Masticore. We did draw an Evolving Adaptive now, which is going to change our play. We're going to slash to get the rat out of the way so the adaptive can get in, and then we're going to do Mover on turn 3 instead of turn 2. I get to hold up a Tyvar stand to protect the adaptive, but we are going to put a forest on top so that we're 1 land away from Masticore. And yeah, now we do actually get a nice little early aggro curve, and then we can still play the Masticore late in the game. Okay, we'll definitely Tyvar stand here, and now I'm actually not going to be able to Masticore on turn 5 because I have to draw another card. So we are getting punished pretty hard for mulliganing here. Where now, if I top deck a land for Masticore, I still don't get to play it next turn, or it's going to get just discarded. It's just going to get sacrificed, so I think I need to just hold on to this Cultivator. So I have something to discard to the Masticore if I hit my next land. Alright, so our opponent doesn't have any early blockers, which is good for us. We've just hit them all the way down to 10 life already. And then hopefully Masticore can take us the rest of the way there. After we hit another land drop. Cultivator would work as the 5th land for Masticore, but again, I think I would rather have it to discard to the Masticore. Yeah, now we just hit the 5th land. I don't really have attacks into the Synthesizer. I will if I play Masticore, then Adaptive is a 3/3. Alright, can't play around that counterspell. It's going to be centuries until I have the mana to play a Masticore and hold another card in hand. So that's fine. But now we do need to draw some more gas to find lethal. Alright, Mesmerizing Dose. Adaptive is down. Batter Fist does not work on Dune Mover. Yeah, we gotta draw into something here. I mean, I guess Batter Fist can just attack in by itself. It does look like our opponent is kind of running out of cards as well at this point. Potentially. Whisper of the Dross. That sucks. There goes the Batter Fist. I do still have an Aspirant, though. Alright. If they attack with Synthesizer, that opens the path for Dune Mover Cultivator. Yeah, it looks like both players are out of cards. Not bad. Ooh, Predation could be really good here. 1 card in their hand here, and they haven't just cast it. I think I'm going to play it safe and Predation Adaptive onto Synthesizer. Alright, and they just don't have any response, so that is excellent. And they're just going to scoop them up. 2 hits will kill them there, so they do have 1 final draw step, but they don't even want to see it. We are going to be 1-0 to start it off. Here we are for game 2. This is Also not really a keepable hand. We have to hit a mountain and we have to hit it real quick here. So we're going to take the mulligan. I don't think I mulligan again here. I probably ditch the Titanic Growth. If I can hit just one land, we can use Vorak to find the fourth land to get to Chimney Rabble, and then we'll just have played enough creatures to try to just have a stable board state to last long enough to play the Masticore. I think I'm going to keep and dump the Titanic Growth. I could see an argument for dumping the Masticore. But I think that, again, if I go Adaptive into Vorak into Rabble, that's going to be plenty enough of a board state to survive till I hit 5 lands. Because again, the first land that I hit is kind of 2 lands, because it's going to mean that we get to cast Vorak, which means that we also get to hit the 4th land. Alright, opponent starts with a Rust-Divine Cultivator, a very weird looking one. We did luckily draw the 3rd land, so we'll get to play Vorak next turn. I don't get to attack into the Cultivator though, since it's a 1/2. The Stinging Hive Master is the play. 3/2 with Toxic 1, and when it trades into a creature, they get a Phyrexian Might on the board. I'm just going to play Vorak here, try to hit our 4th land. Could play Cultivator to try to get the maximum value out of Adaptive, but that seems wrong. Well, we definitely hit the 4th land. I think I am going to trade Vorak for Hive Master. We'll just play it defensive here and make sure we last to the long game, to the late game, to play our Masticore and then try to take over the game with that card. So let's keep ourselves uncorrupted, undamaged, all that good stuff. And we did hit the 5th land for the Masticore. Don't get to play it this turn, but I will next turn, and it should be pretty sweet. I don't think I'm going to block with Adaptive here, so I'm going to offer the trade into the Mantis on the attack. Alright, we are going to hit them for 3 there. Oil Gorger Troll from our opponent, going to gain them some life, draw them a card. We'll take the 1-for-1 trade into Mantis. Trade our Chimney Rabble and the creature that it produced for the 4/3 of theirs. We've got a Predation now. I kind of want to just tap out for Masticore, but they are green-black, where they could very much just have a black removal spell left over to kill Masticore with. That would not be ideal. So I could just Predation the Troll away and hit them for 4 and play Cackler this turn. It's also just fine. I'm cool with it. See if we can get Evolving Adaptive to draw their removal spell out of their hand if they have one. Hiker Spit Basilisk, so they have a Death Toucher, and there's the Predation. It is finger crossing time, hoping they don't have additional removal, and that a big first striking Masticore is enough to take over the board. It does get to attack in, even into that Death Toucher, because it has first strike. As long as they don't have a removal spell, it is going to take over the board state. Okay, Branchblight Stalker and Testament Bearer. Okay. So Masticore is here to do its thing. Oh, I was so excited when I saw that. I was like, oh, they missed first strike. Like, this is gonna be phenomenal. Alright, they don't even have enough toughness to block Masticore well. They could just try to outrace us, but they are at 16. I think it's reasonable to attack. Oh, especially... Okay, I guess they did still miss first strike. They just didn't realize... They just wanted to hold off the Basilisk so they'd have a good blocker for Masticore. Probably should have actually just held Cultivator in my hand, so if I drew anything better than Cultivator, I could play that. Well, I can play Oil Gorger Troll, actually. Pretty nice. Since it'll draw me another card to discard to the Masticore. Okay, they're going to dig for an out with their Testament Bearer, try to find something to kill Masticore with. And even if they end up using a removal spell on Masticore, I'm now going to have a 3/4 on the board, which is big enough to block everything they have. And then I won't have to keep discarding to Masticore. We're kind of happy either way, if Masticore sticks around or if it dies. Ooh, draw Volt Charge. I still basically get to cast it by discarding it. Kill the Stalker, I guess. Now they only have 2 power on board, so I get to attack with all 3 of these. Jump block on Masticore takes 6. Ooh, Titanic Growth. That will kill the Masticore. We'll still hit them for 6 down to 10 and have the bigger board state. And then we're just in a top deck war with the advantaged board state. Yeah, I'm pretty fine with this. We're definitely still in the lead here. Opponent would have to draw quite a bit better than us to find the victory here. Hunter Maze is a good start. It's a lot better than just hitting a forest, because they get to just immediately cycle it away and draw a card. Okay, well... The Pandrel is significantly better than every card in our deck, so... we might just lose. We probably do. Missed out on an oil counter from Cultivator, but it's really just not going to matter. We don't need to use Cultivator at all this game. We've got plenty of mana. Vorak is fine. Guess we're just trying to... we don't really get anything for proliferating. We're just trying to draw a lot of Chimney Rabble and Hexgold Sledge style cards. Make our board state as wide as possible. Maybe get too many creatures for our opponent to deal with. Our odds of victory are really low against this thing, though. We have to draw significantly better than them. Slash isn't horrible, because we get to kill the Cultivator, and again try to get to that board state where we have a lot more creatures in them. really have any immediate impact, but it's nice. Cacophony Scamp is also fine. Spread out the board state, make sure it deals damage even if it dies. No, we don't have anything in our deck that can kill a Zopandrel. If I draw like a Tyvar's stand, they're just dead immediately, because we can make sure... Wait a second. 1, 2, 3... No, that's going to have 8 toughness. That is a really bold predation. They should have waited till post-combat, so they could have a ton of toughness here. But I guess I'd need to deal an additional 6 damage to this thing to kill it. It's gonna have 8 toughness. I guess 5 damage. Yeah, I can't kill it. It's not an artifact. Even if I could kill it, they could just sack these two. I think I just play this, keep my board state wide, trying to draw on a Tyvar stand or Titanic Growth or something. Find potential lethal. With Cacophony Scamp on board, yeah, like, if the Scamp gets in, which any combat trick is lethal. But Tyvar stand makes pretty much any attack lethal in the future. Alright, I'll kill that Predation Steward, that's going to be the best thing I think I'll kill with the slash. Alright, well, still good to get that out of the way. Okay, so I have 8 mana, so I can +7/+7. They die if they let anything other than Slinger in. Actually, they die no matter what, because if they let... I guess if they let Cultivator in, they can survive. If they let anything other than Cultivator in, right, like Scamp can... Scamp can do 1 damage to them, and then Slinger for the X = 7 does an additional 9. I think it's better to send Cultivator in than hold the Cultivator untapped here. Okay, and we're just good. This just kills them. Apologies for the gravelly voice and the throat cleaning and all that. I am still pretty ill. Alright, so Tyvar's stand was basically our 1 out, and we did find it to defeat the Zopandrel, so a really lucky ending to that game. I thought Zopandrel was definitely winning that one. But we find the out attack all, and get a nice victory there. We're now 2-0 as we head into Game 3. Here we are for Game 3. No red source means the hand is a very greedy keep. Don't think I will keep it here. Yeah, we need that red source by turn 3, and if we don't get it, we're doing literally nothing. Yeah, we'll mulligan. Dune Mover makes this hand keepable. Go Cultivator on 1, Dune Mover on 2, Aspirant on 3. I'm almost tempted to put a land on the bottom, but that cannot possibly be right. Get rid of the Volt Charge. We'll just be completely uninteractive at the start, just play our own curve of creatures and hope that's good enough for now. Just wait to draw our removal spells till later. This game, it's going to be important for me to not forget any cultivators. Alright, now that I drew a land, I don't even want to put a land on top of Dune Mover, because the only reason I would need it is if they kill Cultivator. Which does not feel super likely. Alright, opponent is on blue-black. They're just going to pass the turn here. We'll get a counter on Cultivator. Play a nice early Chimney Rabble here, I think. And let's beat down. Hit them down to 15 on board. Yep. Got a super wide board state. Our opponent casts a prologue to Phyrexia, which is going to put a poison counter on us. I was about to say an oil counter, but not everybody's running all the oil stuff. That's me. We don't put oil counters on players. We put poison counters on players. Quicksilver Servitor is the play here. That is a 3/3. Whenever they cast a spell from cards put into their hand this turn, they proliferate. So if they play something that they drew... If they play something the turn that they draw it, they get to proliferate again. Okay. Mainly it's a 3/3, which is a very good blocker here. Annoying for us. Attack all, they kill the Dune Mover for free, take 3, 4, 5, go to 10. Might be worth it. Sack Dune Mover to hit them for 3 additional damage, because we'll be hitting with Scamp as well. I'm just doing it. I'm getting wild in here. I sack a Dune Mover to hit them for 1 million. Hit them for 3 additional damage. Turn Dune Mover into a Lava Spike. We have a lot of cards that would make it pretty easy to find lethal. Our Titanic Growth, Volt Charge, Tyvar's Thingy Maduder. That is the official name. Mountain is definitely not that. Now our attacks are pretty bad. Really don't want my opponent to just get to stabilize here, because that's going to be a bad spot for us. But I don't really have a choice in the matter. We have no more spells to play. If I attack all, it ends poorly. Because they can trade Servitor into Rabble, kill the Scamp, take 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're down to a 1-2, a 1-1, and a 2-3 against a 1-4. It's just not a profitable position. Yeah, we're just done. We're just walled off by a 3-3 and a 1-4 here. Don't have any of our combat tricks or removal. Alright, this is the kind of blue-black poison control deck. The idea here is to get a good blocker on board, like Servitor and Skitterling, sit behind them while they cast a bunch of Prologue to Phyrexia and Experimental Augury, and just keep putting more poison counters on us while we can't chip in. Get us at least corrupted for cards like Skitterling, but a lot of these decks will try to just cast enough instants and sorceries that proliferate to put us to 10 poison. Oil Gorger Troll is a good draw. I forgot to tap Cultivator though. I'm so bad at that. Can tap it now though, no big deal. Forgot Casca's Fall. Alright, goodbye 1-1. Goodbye Goblin. The Skitterling is corrupted now, it is active, so if they get any token production, that's going to be pretty nasty. Right now it doesn't do too much. Just if I draw any removal to clear their creatures out of the way, they can sack one and draw a card instead. Annihilating Glare on my 3-4. Goodbye, my friend. Evolved Spinoderm certainly attacks in on this board. So we drop that bad boy down. Pass the turn, get ready for a big attack next turn. Again, I'm mainly just looking for non-creatures though, like any combat tricks are great here, any non-creatures let me get an oil counter on the Scamp. Alright, Servitor is going to proliferate for them. Yeah, if they just keep playing off the top, they are gonna poison us pretty efficiently. Yeah, I'll actually put a oil counter on Cultivator this time. Hexgold Slash, okay. I mean, it's not incredible, but it's good enough here to attack like this. Double block is going on to the 2-3 Menace. Probably want to kill the Servitor before the Skitterling, but they're both powerful. Skitterling's already going to draw them 2 cards here, right? It's going to sack Watcher, they draw 2. I want to keep that Proliferate off of us, though. Offer Immortality on the Watcher. Huh. That's brutal, because if I Hexgold Slash this Watcher, then they just draw 2 instead. They just use Skitterling to draw 2 and we still lose Aspirant. I'm going to lose Aspirant regardless. Is it better to keep a Spinoderm on our board or remove a Servitor from theirs? But they draw 2 cards in the process if we keep Spinoderm on our board, whereas if we kill Servitor, they draw 1. Oh. I'm going to keep the Spinoderm on board. I really don't like this. Offer Immortality was it's about the last card we wanted to see here. Makes the Aspirant attack pretty horrific. Miles and miles ahead, running laps around us in card advantage now. But they are down to 6. Pestilent Siphoner, okay, doesn't super matter. I do have some Contagious Vorax in this deck, so if I draw one of those, I'm going to want to still have an oil counter on the Scamp. So I'm not going to use that right now. Ooh, Batter Fist. Probably Batter Fist up the Spinoderm. Trample over a little harder. Offer the chimney rabble trade into the servitor. So far, looks like Servitor for Rabble and a chump on the Spinoderm. That is going to swap around, though. Double chump. Okay. A second offer mortality. It seems good here. I still trample over for 2. So we can still find lethal in 2 attacks. So we're going to put them to 4 life now. Keep shooting them with the Sawblade Scamp. Make sure all my creatures have at least 2 power. And if just one of them connects, then they're dead. Phyrexian Obliterator is scary, but Scamp can still threaten to find lethal. Unfortunately, they have enough blockers, we can't find lethal now. Scamp, they're down to 3. Get just a land here. With Scamp, we've essentially put them at 2. They have to block everything, but they can block well. They block our 2-1 with their 3-3, our 3-3 with their 5-5. I guess they can block the 2-2 with the 3-3, the 2-1 with the 1-4, the 3-3 with the 5-5. Yeah, we have pretty horrific attacks. We just need to draw into a couple more spells here for the Scamp. Or just one more creature. If I can have one more creature, then they have blockers. We can also find lethal. Most likely. Send in the Siphoner. Yeah, that's definitely bad for me. 6th poison now. Vraska's Fall puts me to the 7th poison and kills one of my creatures and proliferates and puts me to the 8th poison. Good lord. Sack that to draw a card, see if they had another proliferator or something. Alright, I've got 2 Volt Charges in here for instant lethal. Tons of creatures, some of which have haste and like a Tyvar stand, that would also be great. See what we can hit. I think I tap here. Predation. Can Predation get us there? If their final card is a blank, maybe? Because Predation can kill the Servitor with the Chimney Rabble, then we can Batter Fist up the Rabble and attack with a 5-power creature. We kill Skitterling or trade with Obliterator and lose a bunch of lands. And then just kill them next turn. And of course, casting Predation with Scamp, we put them to 1. I don't even know if I actually attack into Obliterator here. So I'll have to sacrifice 5 permanents. And probably sacrifice 4 lands in the Batter Fist. Alright, I would sack Forest, Mountain, Batter Fist, have 3 mana up. I'd still have the mana for Volt Charge if I draw into it. Are there any outs that I could draw into that I wouldn't have the mana for? Furnace Strider and Masticore I wouldn't have the mana for. I guess Furnace Strider could find lethal. Probably better to just pass here. Try to get the 2-turn Sawblade Scamp kill. Or just, you know, Volt Charge or anything like that. Now we killed the Proliferator, so it's a little bit harder for them to put us to 10 poison. Sheoldred's Assimilator. They get to choose 1 card in a graveyard, shuffle a duplicate into their library. Probably take one of their poison spells, since we are at 8 poison counters. Alright, so we're at the point now where every single non-creature spell in our deck is an out, as well as any of our haste creatures. Another Chittering Skitterling. So with 3 blockers, yeah, any haste creature or any non-creature spell kills our opponent. No. No. No way. I was going to mention that the only thing that could go wrong with me tapping Scamp now would be if it's Vorak exactly on top, because then the Vorak would proliferate another counter onto Scamp. But tapping the Scamp immediately plays better if it's any non-creature spell or any haste creature. And there are more non-creatures and haste creatures than there are Voraks. There's 2 Voraks versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 2 Voraks versus 6 non-creature / haste spells. So the correct play, I think, was to tap the Scamp there so that we could go into immediate lethal if we hit one of those instead of the Vorak. Oh, that's so obnoxious. Look, there's Volt Charge. Now, it is worth noting here, if I didn't shoot them with Scamp there so that I could Vorak Proliferate, then if they kill me this turn, I still would have died, because they wouldn't be at 1, they'd be at 2 right now, and I'd have a Scamp with 2 counters. Alright, so I was just screwed either way, I guess. I was screwed either way, because if I kept the Scamp with an oil counter on it, again, opponent would be at 2, I would tap it here to put them to 1, and I'd have a Scamp with an oil counter on it, but then I still die to poison before I get my next draw step, before I get my next untap for Scamp specifically, so I think I played it out right. And even if I did play it the other way, that would have benefited me for, would have rewarded me for drawing the Vorak there. I still would have just lost the game before Scamp could have tapped twice. Oh, that was an unfortunate ending there. Well fought from our opponent, but really not a super fun matchup for us. 2-2, I think. 2-1. All right, that's our first loss. Not bad at all. It's just been some long games today as we head into game 4. All right, here we are on the play. A lot of mulligans all day long. Another monocolored hand. This is a little more keepable than our first hand, because we actually have a castable early game play, but it's not a very good one. I think I just have to mulligan again. Moles have been not ideal. It's the best hand we've drawn so far. We gotta get rid of Volt Charge. Probably Volt Charge Scamp here even. Slow hand, but I mean, I guess I don't have anything that comes with oil, so maybe we do like this. You know what, I could see this. Then I just need to draw one land at some point. This seems reasonable. Any land makes the hand active and gets me to 4 mana off of Vorak. Scamp is really good against Ambassador. Whether or not they block, I can just sack it and kill Ambassador. So it's 1 damage to them and 1 to their Ambassador either way. They have no say in the matter. We have missed our 3rd land drop. We did not draw land in the first 2 draws. Hexgold Sledge is a ridiculous magic card. We've got one in our deck because it is busted. 3 mana for a 3/2 and a 1/1 Gavalier. We have still missed land drop number 3. And now we've gotten our Cultivator slashed. And this is probably just the Mole to 5 into Supreme Punishment. Yep. There's the 3rd land off Dune Mover. Excuse me. There's the 3rd land off Dune Mover, but it's going to be too late here. We are very, very far behind because the Hexgold Sledge is just so much power for only 3 mana. For 3 mana, they get a 2/2 and a 4/1 trample. So they get 6 power on the board, and now a Skitterfang to start giving lifelink or flying to really win the race here. Make sure we can't stabilize at all. Trade into the 2/2, take 4 in the sky, we're down to 10. There's the land we got off of our Dune Mover. Kind of need to Volt Charge Skitterfang, but then I go down to 6 against the Gavalier. Yeah, I just would have already scooped by now if I weren't recording. But we'll play it out. We'll get our extra 1 more turn until we die. One creature, trade there, take 4. They play 1 removal spell, we're dead. If I hit a mountain here, I could play Fuseling and play 2 creatures this turn. Make it a little more likely to survive, then I don't die to 1 removal spell. I don't instantly die to 1 removal spell. I still lose the game to it, though, because they get to kill Vorak and force me into a chump block going down to 2. We do actually get trades here, but we're dead to a Volt Charge. No Volt Charge, Orthodoxy Enforcer is the play. No creatures big enough to block that profitably means I just have to chump block this turn, so we play the worst creature. Go for our chump block. Kemba, Conduring. They get to auto-equip an equipment to that, and they get to make cats every turn for 5 mana. Yeah, this game was going to be a steamroll no matter what. Well, they had the removal spell too. They just wanted to slow roll us, show us the Kemba as well. Seems good. 2 and 2. Not a lot we could do there. Some rough opening hands into some bad mulligans. And then even kind of a perfect hand can fall flat against a really nice curve like that from our opponent. There's some classic Phyrexia all will be one there. Here we are for game 5, slow hand where we don't start till turn 3, but our plays are very powerful from then on. Now we do have a Dune Mover to play on turn 2 at least. Opponent's curving out, Incubation Sac into Branch Blight Stalker. Absolute classic, always drawing our 1 mana card after turn 1. Back at it again with the missed opportunities. Opponent is still just dumping stuff out. Play a Cultivator and anoint our Dune Mover to get the Branch Blight Stalker through. Let's go ahead and drop our Hex Gold Sledge here, so we have a 3/2 and a 1/1 to trade into the Stalker. We draw into our Shrapnel Slinger. It's actually pretty great this game against the Incubation Sac they have. They're going to play a Dross Skull Bomb. And no attacks. Hexgold Slash does some nasty stuff. And there's the Shrapnel Slinger. So that can also do some nasty stuff. I think Goblin Gavalier is a little bit less valuable than the 2/2 that has a sledge on it right now. It's really close. So we're going to play Cultivator. We're going to play Fuseling. And then we're going to sack something to Slinger. Maybe Cultivator. Actually, I think Cultivator is probably our least valuable card on this board to kill the Incubation Sac with. But we did draw the Shrapnel Slinger. That was an absurd draw. I'll offer the trade of a 2/2 Rebel for the 3/1 Branch Blight Stalker. They're just going to take the 3. Now they're going to play a Tyranax Atrocity. A 2-for-1 trade there. Could just go to 5 poison. Not the end of the world. Can outrace them. 5's kind of a lot though, kind of spooky. Sure, get your 2-for-1. Okay. Vorak is just going to be for a land here. Move the Sledge to the Gavalier and just get aggro. And then Vorak can trade to Stalker, that's fine. Just hit for a bunch of damage. Wow, we just lost out on our evolved Spinoderm and our evolving Adaptive. I cry every time. Rest in peace, my sweet princes. We're going to use the Skull Bomb to get the Atrocity back to their hands so they can replay it next turn. Now we've got a Titanic Growth to deal with it. That should be pretty nasty. I'm just going to send in the squad. They're at 11 life here. Titanic Growth could even find lethal on them. An extra 4 damage out of nowhere can do a lot. So 6, we can hit them for 10. That's not quite lethal. I'll just let it happen. Anoint on the Gavalier, sure. So we hit them for 2, clear off the board pretty much. This is fine. And I've got Aspirants with Titanic Growth to kill the Tyranax Atrocity. They also might just not attack with it. Alright, untap the Forest, slam down Tyranax Atrocity. Get that big poison damage in. Wait, 7, 8, 9. We actually just kill them with Growth on the Crackback. That's probably better than killing that. Yeah, that's a little better than killing the Atrocity. Big stuff from Titanic Growth that game, and we're going to be 3-2 as we head into game number 6. Now getting an average win rate no matter what. Here we are for game 6. Opponents on the play. Really good hand for us. Batterfist into Aspirant into Spinoderm if we can hit another green source. Now we even have a Scamp to play on turn 1, so we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4 curve. Mandible Justiciar from our opponent. A little annoying, but I can offer the Scamp trade for it. And they don't want it. What about the Batterfist trade? We're going to try to just slam dunk any trade we can into that Justiciar to keep them from just winning a race with a ton of lifelink. I'm definitely going to kill this Whelp as well, because this draws them a card every time it hits us, which is not okay with me. Yeah, a little awkward not playing a creature out this turn, but I think it's pretty important to just kill this thing before they draw any cards off of it. Sorry, Batterfist, I'm not going to put you on my 1/1. That feels bad. X-Gold Hoverwings from our opponent. Fine card. We will just play our Spinoderm. Or just start beating down. Take 3 in the sky, down to 17. And then Sizer Glider is the play. And a Flensing Raptor, a bunch of flyers to deal with now. Okay, there's a Contagious Vorak that can proliferate for us for the Spinoderm, which is nice. I think we just want to Spinoderm into Masticore and just attack with a bunch of 5/5s. Use the Masticore to clear out some of these flyers and tokens and all that. So we'll be discarding Bladegraft Aspirant to kill the Flensing Raptor, most likely. Silica Skull Bomb, some extra damage in the sky, +2/+2 and flying. They have got to have a removal spell if they're trying to outrace like this. I mean, I can't make any blocks, so we'll take it all. See, if they just play a creature to block with, we just kill it with Masticore and then kill them. That would be monumentally bold. Okay, Annihilating Glare to kill the Masticore. Fair enough, so the race is going to happen. Just going to start hitting them with Scamp naturally. So I'm tapping it there and then attacking with it since they don't have any blockers up. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hit for 3, 4, 5, 6 on the crackback. Yeah, we're golden. We are golden. They're down to 1. They have to kill us this turn or they're pretty dead. Duelist to Deep Faith is the play. Now they can't attack at all, or we will have enough creatures to kill them. And actually with Trample they still just die, but I can also just play this Cacophony Scamp with Batterfist. Just go boop. Boop the face for 2. Make it nice and simple, and that will be 4 wins and 2 losses now. We are now pretty much breaking even, and a little ahead in win rate, which is nice. 4 and 2 heading into round 7. Here we are for game 7. I guess we're just going to try to play a turn 3 Spinoderm and cross our fingers and hope for the best. We've got 4 lands and a Cultivator here, so definitely a potentially floody hand. But turn 3 Spinoderm is just a heck of a start. Should be horrifying for our opponent. It looks like they've taken a couple mulligans. Yeah, they are mulliganing to 5 here. We definitely know that pain. Turn 1 Evolving Adaptive. Okay, well, I don't think we mulled to 5 and had a turn 1 Evolving Adaptive today. Maybe we did. Just didn't pan out super well for us. I can just Predation this Adaptive. Honestly, I'm cool with it. Still not going to attack with Cultivator, though, because I need it to play the Spinoderm next turn. Okay, they are going to use a combat trick on the cultivator to draw another card for them. And we're just going to play an early Spinoderm. Try to beat our opponent down with it. So their Blazing Crescendo did get them a cultivator to play. We have drawn one Cackler and a bunch of lands, so we're not super happy with our draws so far. We are sort of getting punished, as I said. A hand that could be pretty floody has played out a little floody so far. Volt charge the Cackler, sure. Hit them for 6 this turn. Shrapnel Slinger. Probably have to just play it as a 2/2. Keep the pressure on. Fingers crossed we can hit a Volt Charge of our own or a Contagious Vorak. We have at least 4 cards in our deck that could proliferate for our evolved Spinoderm. Lattice Blade Mantis is the play. Alright, come on, come on. Saw Blade Scamp. Now is where things start to fall apart. They block and kill Slinger and take 5, 6, 7. I guess we put them dead to a Volt Charge off the top. It's our best bet here. Put them to 2 life. Okay. They're at 2 life facing down a Sawblade Scamp. And obviously any Volt Charges like that off the top are going to be immediate lethal. Shoot the face. They have an Oil Gorger Troll here, it's all over. Alright, Furnace Strider. Not horrible for us. Well, now we can hit them down to... Oh no, they get to untap the Mantis, never mind. I forgot about that. Spinoderm, unfortunately a goner. There's a Hexgold Sledge. That is a real magic card. Put 2 more creatures on our board, one of which gets to be a 4/1 trample. And of course, Sawblade Scamp being able to shoot them down to 1. I think, again, I have more non-creature spells than Contagious Vorax in my deck, so I should use the Sawblade Scamp so that if I hit any non-creature spell, they're immediately dead and don't get an additional turn. There's a Contagious Vorak of their own. And then a Barbed Batterfist for a nice wide board state of blockers. Yeah, because there's definitely some cards that could kill us if I give them another turn to live by waiting on Scamp. Like Hazardous Blast would be the main one, we'd just immediately be dead. They deal 6, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 next turn. I think I need to just tap Scamp now. Although now that I killed that, even if they have Hazardous Blast, next turn they hit us for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, but then Scamp is dead if they have Hazardous Blast. This is playing around like Blast or any removal for Scamp? Sure. I think we just do it now. Again, there's only 2 cards in our deck that punish us for that choice. Okay, we hit Fuseling. If we hit our like 1 out of 7 of hitting non-creatures versus our 1 out of 2 of hitting Vorax, then it's going to play out better. Yeah, we're back to all in on any non-creature spells. Got a Hexgold Slash, Barbed Batterfist, Tyvar Stand, Titanic Growth, 2 Volt Charges. That's it. So we have 6 non-creature spells. 2 Vorax. Take our 6. And there we go. Tyvar Stand will do it. And there's the concession from our opponent. We are now 5-2 as we head into round number 8. Not in love with our round 8 hand. We have Scamp into Spinoderm potentially, but this is a hand that wants to draw another green source, and if it does, it's a 5 land opener. A bit much. Think I'm still going to keep it, but very similar to the last hand where we could definitely get a little floody in here. First draw is a Volt Charge. We're pretty happy to see that. Always a welcome addition. Sure, Scamp for Scamp. Fair trade. Shoot each other in the face. And here comes a Duelist of Deep Faith. Alright, Spinoderm into Oil Gorger Troll is going to be awesome. You do need to hit a forest still to do that, though. Volt Charge one of these or just play a Cackler. Try to just naturally block. We'll play the Cackler here, see if they have any tricks. If they do not have tricks, they will not attack with Duelist. Yep, Hexgold Hoverwings is the play. We'll just get hit by Punisher for the turn. Down to 14. And here we go, last chance. Forest off the top. No, we do not get to turn 4 the Spinoderm. That is actually really poor for us. Because we're facing multiple evasive threats here, we need to get some action going. Under kind of a large amount of pressure. Alright, well, 5-3 it is. Magmatic Scorchwing, phenomenal. Alchemy rare. We've played a few copies of that. That thing is bonkers. It's definitely going to close this game out. Even if we can kind of counter the burn spell half of it, they've still got a 4-4 flyer alongside the 3-2 flyer and the 3-3 menace, and we're just taking 1,000,000 damage every turn. We're too far behind. That's a super awkward draw. I guess if we killed the Punisher, that would have made a Hexgold / draw a little better. I wanted to kill the Flyer, though, because with this hand, it's actually slightly possible to block a Menace creature, but impossible to block a Flyer. The idea was fine, but didn't pan out well. So we would have killed both. I mean, we'd still just be losing here, because I can't play any more creatures. Yeah, this one's just Ogre. That actually plays pretty fine if they equip that one, because I can kill that. Yeah, no, they have 3 creatures. Even if I hit the forest now, gain 4 off Troll, I guess, but I died a Scorchwing, plus they put the Punisher into the sky with the Hover Wings. So we take 8 damage next turn. I would be at 8. I'd be at 7 life after gaining life from the Troll. We are dead no matter what we draw. And still didn't hit the forest anyway, so punished for the kind of greedy keep here. But again, another curve that was just really, really strong stuff from our opponent. They went Scamp into Duelist, into Punisher, into Hoverwings, into Scorchwing. Just a really good curve all the way from 1 mana up to 5. Gonna be an uphill battle no matter what there. So, well drafted, well built deck from our opponent, going to just win that game before it even started. Not too much in terms of gameplay to mention there, just curved out with some sick stuff. So 5-3 it's going to be in the end. Not bad at all. Better than I thought we were going to go, getting some early losses with this deck, starting out from behind. So I'm pretty happy with that. I think that's about what I would expect out of this deck on average. It's pretty good, pretty solid. It's not like incredible. Our 2-drop slot is pretty mediocre. We've got the Batter Fist, which is great. But the Dune Mover and the Slinger are kind of mediocre for just like a red-green deck. There's definitely better options like Axiom Engravers. That would be phenomenal. Canker Blooms are premium, but those are uncommon, so you don't see them that often. Maybe even just multiple more copies of Batterfist, some stuff like that. To just up the quality of the creatures. Cackler's not a great creature. Aspirant's not incredible in here. Just lacking a little bit on some of the creature quality, I think, is the biggest downside of this deck. Other than that, though, I think the curve is fine. Could use some more 2s, maybe a little less 1s or a little bit better 1s. A little more 2s and 4s here. But overall, a pretty good run from the deck, and I think the deck was pretty good. I like all our non-creature spells. I like our bombs. I like most of our creatures. Our biggest downside being some of the more filler level creatures, like all these Cackler, Dune Mover, Slinger, stuff like that, Aspirant, with not a lot of equipment, being a little subpar for this deck specifically. But yeah, sweet stuff overall. We'll take it. 5 and 3 out of that premier draft of All Will Be One Alchemy. Well, that is going to end today's video. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more, just stick around on the channel. You can leave a like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you more of these videos in your recommended feeds. If you'd like to hang out with me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. Other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.